up, Samuel.
Hello and welcome to Hobby Mules, where two dice-crazed men make asses of themselves while talking all about things tabletop. I'm your host, Sam.
And I'm your host, Josh.
And welcome to today's show. Now, Josh, you said you had something very interesting to tell me.
Yeah, just a piece of general advice for new DMs out there.
Yeah.
Maybe don't have the confidence to run their game the way they want.
Mm-hmm.
The solution is simple. Kill them. Kill them now.
Are you saying, Josh, that I killed this character that I've written 12 pages of backstory for?
No. Don't kill him. Kill all of them.
Okay.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about, as a DM, killing players, getting the confidence to run encounters that can result in death.
Well, you do know, Josh, you like the action economy, As players die, combat gets faster because, the rest die more quickly.
Good. It's boring anyways. Speed that shit up.
Exactly. Dare I say, though, Josh, they might even run if you do that.
Well, it's not like they have legs. But I'm not saying just to kill your players willy-nilly for the sake of it.
Oh.
Unless you're running a funhouse dungeon where that's kind of the whole bit.
Right. It's not the meat grinder.
Yeah, it's more about death should be a possibility in a realistic world. The same way that you don't, run into oncoming traffic now.
Right.
But your players shouldn't feel like they can just run into a horde of enemies and emerge unscathed.
Oh, definitely. Like, what? So, okay. Let's think about this. There's that classic trope of old woman going, you shouldn't go to the Dungeon of Doom and Death. Everyone who goes there dies. No one arrives back alive. Why are these random level 1 bozos able to go in there and escape basically unscathed? Right? Basically unscathed.
And I guess the big point we're trying to make is there needs to be stakes.
That's everything. That is everything in a role-playing game, right?
It's everything in a story that you're telling.
Right, exactly. Especially in a collaborative story, like, I guess pretty much any tabletop RPG, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Your characters there needs to be a consequence for failure. And I find, and I think Sam agrees with me here, that in the modern monicum, is that a word?
Monicum? Yeah, monicum's a word.
What does it mean?
Like a modicum of intelligence. Like a teeny amount.
I won't use big words. I am an orc player. Modern DMs seem to be very afraid of throwing difficult things at players at any level. To the point where this fundamentally shaped how you play D&D, right?
Yes, it did. I was getting very frustrated at my DM. We may have mentioned this before, but I made a character, Earl Grey T, a crazed, a veteran wizard with like PTSD. And his whole thing was he would try to run in the middle of combat, cast fireball centered on himself. He just wanted to die. He'd like jump off of cliffs. He would anger, like he was like, oh yeah, this is a level 16 fighter NPC. You guys won't kill him, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, immediately we're going to start a fight for him. Like all these things to try to die.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't die. Not once.
Not that he didn't die. He could not die.
Yes! He was suicidal.
Yes. And you could say that's the DM's fault, but I've had similar experiences where their death almost isn't even a possibility for these characters. No matter how hard the outcome, the 5th edition DM is encouraged to do anything but kill a PC. Because if you kill a player, well, then that player didn't have fun.
Right, and then your entire story goes down the drain too, of course. Like,
well, yeah, because your whole story... We'll touch on this later.
We will.
But your whole story is wrapped up in their 12-page background. So if this character dies, then oh no.
What you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
And that's the thing, though. Like you said, 5th edition especially, and 5th edition being probably the biggest role-playing game in the world currently.
Absolutely.
It really does incentivize you in every single way as a dungeon master to not kill your players.
And we're here to tell you,
do that.
Yeah.
Kill them.
Kill them now. Because why even play a game if the possibility of losing, I guess you'd call dying, losing is not on the table?
I mean, is that even a game at that point? Or are you all just kind of sitting around the table just telling a little story? I mean, even that is not a very interesting one because there's no stakes.
Exactly. If you want to play a game with no stakes, Animal Crossing exists.
Yes, it does, Josh. I'm sure a lot of the people that run D&D 5e also play Animal Crossing, though.
Most likely.
But challenging moments, I'm sure we both found this too, they make for some excellent, memorable moments.
Absolutely. In those really tense moments where the whole party's down to a couple of hit points each, and they have to really think about how they can use their abilities and movement and action economy to outmaneuver the villains, and they come up with these really clever solutions. Like that's when, because they have to. It's think or die in those moments.
You're out of spells. You're out of your innate abilities. Like
outnumbered, most likely.
Yes.
Yeah. So these create some really cool moments, and I'm going to put you on the spot right here, Sam.
Yeah.
What was a good challenging moment? Maybe something that happened recently that you threw at players.
Oh, are you talking about my fun little encounter I put together for a certain live stream I'm a part of?
Yes, I actually am.
Okay. Do we say their name or do we leave them nameless?
No, Dungeon Bros.
Yeah, Dungeon Brothers. Woo! We're brothers by blood or by choice. I know we bring you up
you've
a
gone
lot.
too far.
Okay.
You don't get to use their tagline.
Well, we're asses, whether by birth or by choice.
David will hit you with an NDA shortly.
Oh boy, but so I convinced David the DM, right, to let me put together a little story, or I guess story. Yeah, storyline. An encounter. Yes, a boss encounter for the players. So I decided, like, okay, 5e combat is a slog. To make a good 5e combat, you have to ignore every single rule regarding 5e combat. So I did.
Yeah, step one. Challenge rating. Out the window.
No such thing. Balance and a fair fight are both illusions. I tell my players that exact line so many. That's etched onto my dungeon screen, actually.
I need to get that tattooed.
I'll have to show you my dungeon screen. It has all of my little sayings on it that help players survive.
Okay.
It's actually really useful.
We should do a whole episode on that.
Oh, I'd love to. But going on. So it was a very tough encounter. You know what, Josh? What did you think of it? There was the mad priest. There was a giant golem. There were the acolytes causing the lights to flicker on and off, plunging them into darkness. There was an assassin.
There were gargoyles falling from the ceiling. Some animated, some not. Some just obstacles.
Yeah.
Steam methods coming out of the golem. So it was a crazy fight. And the players, you could tell, were freaking out in a good way. It wasn't this is bullshit. This is too hard. It was oh my god, do you see what he just did? How the hell are we gonna top that? It was that kind of, and that's the kind of thing you want to get from the players. You want to elicit this
visceral reaction. Yeah.
They should be freaked out and wowed.
What's gonna happen next?
Yes.
They should not expect it.
As a storyteller, that's an important thing you want your players to feel. That uncertainty. That how are we going to get ourselves out of this next one?
Yeah, like the assassin, you know? Because these monsters, they weren't there in the beginning. It was just the priest, the golem, and 4 of his acolytes.
Right.
So once they got to the acolyte that I had marked down as the assassin, he appeared and got a free automatic sneak attack. And they were like, oh
shit.
Because what comes next? And there were a lot of little things like that. Like, wait, what's going to happen next? Keep them on edge. Never let them know what you're going to do next, you know? Also just deal a shit ton of damage to them all the while.
Yes. Yes. And so challenge is super important. But a big part of being a DM is you need to read the room. And if you throw all this at your players and they're not having fun, dial it back.
Right.
Read the room. You know, if they do have that, this is bullshit. How are we going to beat that reaction? I'd argue they're in the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
it could be your goof too. And you got to realize that.
You could have messed up. You could be throwing too much at them in a way that's not enjoyable. Framing's important too.
Oh, yes. Well,
your players should know what they're getting into.
Right. Well, for them, it was Alex's character. He's a sweetheart, by the way. Liberty, he wanted to go there to kill this evil priest. So he convinced the entire party to do it. And I was told later that it was supposed to be a surprise, but I basically told everyone beforehand. So they knew it was one of my encounters. And I'm sure you know, Josh, I have a little reputation.
Sam's a little, he's a little old-fashioned with how he runs his games.
And?
How many players have you killed with your new campaign so far?
Hey, listen. The dice kill them. The dice and NPCs kill them, not me. But yeah, so I'm starting a new Edition Zero game, my version of it. We've played 3 games, and 6 people have died. Technically 7 counting one, but he was suicidal. But 6 characters have been sacrificed to the meat grinder, so others may live.
Mm-hmm. So they knew what they were getting into. They did not have to go to the dungeon. Mm-hmm. They knew it was going to be a tough fight. Mm-hmm. And you did a very important thing. You left the door unlocked.
Yes. Now, I didn't communicate this with the DM when designing the encounter. I'm not sure what he thought thinking about it in the moment, but I did have written down in my notes, the door stays open.
Yes.
Because that, you have to realize, right? You can't just throw a super hard encounter at the party and not, for one, telegraph it and, allow them an escape route, right?
Yeah, because then you've taken away all the agency.
Right. And if you are going to trap them, that telegraphing's huge, right? So if the earth starts to rumble and you guys stick around in the area for 5 turns or something, that's kind of on you. Earth has been rumbling. It's been getting louder. You guys had a chance to run. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what that would be.
Or maybe the portcullis is up, but you see a guard running towards the laver.
Yes.
You now have a full round of combat to either stop him or run away before he pulls it, and now you're trapped.
That telegraph.
Yeah, telegraph it, give them some agency. That way, if they think, yeah, this is bullshit, we can't fight this,
they have a way out.
Because your players, fun fact, unless your monsters chopped off their legs, in which case, good job.
You're doing great. Actually, that's a great monster design.
Yeah, that would be cool. But they can run.
Right.
And running is not inherently cowardly.
No, you should do it. So many heroic characters run. Especially in the beginning. And even then later, actually, thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. In every story, I'm going to say it. Every story, every book, movie, at some point, the hero has to run.
Mm-hmm. And now, Josh, you had a really good example of this. A certain Lord of the Rings character.
Oh, well, he dies, yes.
Oh, wait. Maybe it was my example I was thinking of from it then.
Well, go for it.
Well, the Hobbits in the beginning, right?
Oh, yeah, they can't
They just run. They run and hide the entire time. In fact, they pretty much continue to run throughout. They run from the forces of Mordor for the entire movie.
Yeah, not even just the hobbits, but Aragorn, this kick-ass future king, probably the toughest good guy in the whole series, right?
Honestly, yeah.
He's not taking on the Nazgul. He's fleeing them and evading them, and that's the tension. The tension is not, can I beat them? It's the tension, I can't beat them. I'm running from them.
Right.
Can I escape them?
And that's it. He has so many badass moments, too, besides that.
And you can create these tense moments in a retreat.
Yes, and those can be super duper memorable.
And I'm going to think of an obscure example that just came to my mind.
You go.
It's not a good movie, but it's a movie. Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian. All right. The film version. The only part of the film that I remember is the only cool part, where a siege goes south, and the Minotaur is holding up the portcullis, and everyone has to escape while he's holding it. And it's this really cool moment where they're getting shot at, and they all run, and then his strength buckles, and it collapses on him and kills him.
Oh, and that's awesome.
It's this really cool action scene. And it's usually, running away should be like a low point in your narrative. They shouldn't run from every fight.
No.
Unless they're a bunch of losers.
Right.
But if it's a big, impactful retreat, that's like your second act low point. Before they pick themselves up and come up with a new strategy on how to
kick
some ass.
Yeah. That's such a cool scene, too.
It is. It's the only good part of that whole movie.
I'm not surprised. Oh, boy.
I don't think it's been 15 years since I've watched it.
If that's all you remember, that's pretty good, actually. That's really good.
It was cool at the time.
No, I'm sure that'd still be cool now if you watched it.
Probably.
Just that one scene.
Just that one scene.
But, see, with that, too, we touched on it a little bit already, but it really is an art, right? It's not a science.
Yeah, there's no book that's going to help you here. It's dependent on your players, very much so.
And also how you run games, even.
Yeah, that too.
You have to take the skill level of the players into account, too, right? If you don't mind me saying, my main group players who've been playing for just about 2 years now, they are grizzled, hardcore, old school gaming veterans. They can basically read a combat and go, yeah, we're fucked, and they still run despite being I think level 5 to like level 7 for their high level guys, they know like, okay, we're fucked, we're getting out of here.
Yeah, that's important. Where a new player, they think their only option is
to fight,
to swing the sword.
Mm-hmm.
You have many more. Many more.
So many more. And some of their escapes have been pretty cool too, like finding ways to hold like doors shut behind them, or setting traps along the like oil's the big one, and lighting on fire.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the classic
shit right there. And death, player death, is not always a negative thing.
No.
It can be, it's tough, but it can be one of the most impactful narrative moments in a campaign is the death of a character.
Mm-hmm.
The character who stays behind to fight off the horde so the rest of the party can escape. That is an awesome moment.
It is.
Or if you die in a big fight, that could be an awesome moment too.
Oh, definitely.
Die protecting someone, for example.
Or even like, well, I suppose that could be part of it, rushing up immediately to the big boss to give your other, PC friends time to actually get up to him.
Yeah, or prepare their spells and stuff like that. Yeah. So don't write off death as a big no-no.
Right. It's not inherently bad.
And even the player, in a moment when they're on board with it, can even enjoy it. Now, sometimes, in a lot of cases, you don't want your character to die. You might be bummed for a little bit.
Right. But, those moments, they really do talk a lot about those moments. And that's the thing. You know what? I'd argue those are some of the most dramatic moments. The near-death to death experiences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you saying when they come back up after going down, or are you like...
So, like, in my games, when you reach 0 HP, you just die.
I know your games.
So you don't go down.
Well, no, and I do... Finish your example, sorry.
Finish my example?
Yeah.
Well, Jeepers, if you don't mind me using another example, like Mario. He was this cleric. He was a big example to, like, basically the only other lawful character in the party at the time. This was pretty early on. And he died due to a shock trap, where he was reaching out for a spell scroll. It was a level 3 spell scroll. So at the time they were like, holy shit, it's lightning. But he died doing it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you can like say a last few words. So he had this like really nice last thing where he's like, listen, you be good. The rest of them I've given up hope for, but you be good. And then he died.
Yeah, that
and they still talk about him.
Yeah, no, that's a good, perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Boromir. You have a party with the wizard, the ranger, all these different, archetypical classes.
The hobbit.
Yeah. And the fighter, the hobbit, the burglar, the thief.
Mr. Burglar.
The filthy thief.
That's precious.
But the fighter sacrifices himself against a horde of enemies and goes down. And it's this great moment. And, like, Lord of the Rings would be worse if Boromir didn't die.
Yeah.
And your campaign that you are running might be better if a
character dies.
If a character dies, it could be a better story.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, just keep that in mind. Don't let it scare you off. We touched on this earlier, but let's just put it on the record. Say it with me, Sam. Challenge ratings are bullshit. Yeah, it was.
We were really synced up there.
That was terrible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, challenge ratings really are.
They're terrible.
They're terrible.
Don't use them. They will not create the balance that they promise.
No. I mean, everyone says it. They're good for guidelines, which
I don't even think that's true. You know what's a better guideline? Hit points. Armor class, actually. Armor class is a better guideline.
But even then, that's hard to realize as a new DM.
Well, the new DMs, listen up.
Go off of armor class.
Oh yeah, armor class is a better gauge than challenge ratings.
Which...
Because guess what? Even if you throw like an animated armor, I think it's only like challenge rating 2 in 5th edition.
But its armor class is like 18, right?
It's armor class 20.
20?
Yeah.
Oh, it's even higher than I thought.
I think. I'm pretty sure.
That sounds right. I know it's absurdly high.
Yeah, which means like, okay.
I think it's only challenge rating 2, thinking on it.
I think so. So you throw some of those at your players, and you think, oh, well, the CR says they can take it. Nope. Maybe they could probably beat them. They're not going to have fun missing every single attack. That sucks.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
we'll have to do a different episode on that. But
on missing?
Yeah, literally, that's what I did during that combat encounter I ran. The highest armor class was 15.
Yes.
And they were all like level 8 or 7 or
just
something.
Just as a design philosophy, I think it's better to have lower armor classes, more hit points.
Makes it feel so much better.
Absolutely. Because you're doing something versus I waited 45 minutes to miss next turn.
Oh, don't make me think about that, Josh.
I think we already crapped on 5th edition enough.
No, we haven't. It needs to be bullied more. But yeah, so CR rating is bullshit. But here's the thing: when you start to realize death is a valid option, but so is retreat. You can design encounters however you want. Now,
It's a freeing. It's very freeing.
it is.
You're not stuck to these tight rules anymore.
And it takes so much less time because I roughly went off of challenge rating in the beginning, but I can only imagine someone looking at this, figuring it's more like a board game, so you have to follow the rules as closely as you can, and trying to design a balanced encounter based off of the 5e rules using that sounds like a miserable experience.
Yeah, and I agree. And if you design a dungeon for a specific level, like obviously, you as the DM can tweak it to fit your party. And challenge writing might be helpful with that. It might not.
Right. You shouldn't go out of your way to throw like 10 trolls at players who are like level 2. You know, you can balance it well yourself.
That would be funny though.
Well, here's the way I generally do it. So in my dungeons, you roll for, there's a bunch of random encounters.
Right.
It's very good on dungeon crawling. But I always have one of the random encounters be either you roll one level below, so a stronger enemy comes up, or there's one really strong enemy who lives on that floor. So if you see him, you're like, oh, fuck, it's the troll. Run!
Right.
So there is a tough enemy. If you beat him, you'll be able to go to his treasure hoard and take all his stuff. But, you're generally facing just skeletons and low-level spiders, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Right.
No CR required.
Exactly. You know the CR better because the CR is your players, and CR sucks.
It does. But I'm not just saying throw these tough enemies at your players just for the hell of it. If they kill these enemies, reward them with some good ass loot.
Yes, you should, because
Magic items.
So, okay, if your players aren't lit up like Christmas trees, if someone uses a detect magic spell, you're doing something wrong in my humble opinion.
After they fought a few big things, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know a little trick I use is, at the end of every single one of my quote-unquote starting dungeons for a new group, there is a stronger enemy. Generally, it's a ghoul. Every time it's been a ghoul. Every time it's been a ghoul with a +1 mithril short sword. And whenever they get that mithril short sword, they go, holy shit, it's a magic sword. And they're like, this is fucking awesome. We don't care that 2 people just died. This is so cool.
Their sacrifice was worth it.
Literally. Which last time, okay, for this last group that did it, there was such a cool moment where 2 people died immediately, basically, to it. And, like, this cleric stepped right in front of them and went, all right, glory to Axis, and actually managed to bash his head in and kill him. And they were like, yeah! He's like, yeah, I was expecting him just to die like the others, but no, he actually did it.
That's awesome.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and guess what? Those players who die,
they get to make new characters.
They get to make new characters.
Yay!
And making characters is fun. For a lot of people, it's the most fun they'll have with 5th edition.
Literally, there are entire websites dedicated to character creation.
It's fun to kind of min-max those stats and pick cool abilities.
Yes. To have a gimmick of some... Generally, I think it's a lot of gimmicks, right? Making a character based all around shield bashing. Making a character based all around poison damage. Like, you'd be...
Yeah, a lot of people like
their gimmicks.
Doing it that way. Which is fine. It's fun.
Oh, it is.
And let them have their fun. If their player character dies... The next fun part of their journey in the adventure is to make a character.
Right.
Get excited about this new character.
Exactly.
And then kill it.
And then guess what? They get to make a new character.
Yeah, see?
I know I have a ton of fun making characters.
See, we're all about the dopamine highs and lows here.
There, it's a balance, You go without the D&D drug for a little bit. Feels bad, man, but then you go into it. Feels good, man, and then it feels bad, and then good. Cut this segment out. This sucks.
And the last thing I want to say is, at the end of the day, you're the GM, DM,
referee,
Dungeon Master.
You're all those. You're the Labyrinth Lord.
You are the storyteller. You are in charge. It's your game. Don't be afraid to challenge your players to death.
Literally to death.
Because if your entire story revolves around
one player per se.
Yeah, one player's background, your hands are tied as a DM now. You can't let that character die because you have allowed your entire world to be created around this one shithead player character.
And if they die, what do you do?
Next note as a DM. Be good at improv and being able to change your plans.
Oh, yes, 100%. Like, I don't know about you, Josh, but I just let story build up organically however they want. I just have locations prepared.
Yeah, have some locations. This is a whole
Nother
many
topic.
hour discussion. But yeah, you should not be married to a single player character's backstory.
Or even a single plot line of yours, you know? You never know what's going to change.
Yes.
That's part of the fun, too.
Death comes unexpectedly.
It does. Often in the night in the inn when the players are not expecting it.
Yes. So you are the DM. You have the authority to tell the story, and as long as your players are having fun, you can challenge them and kill them, and they can still have a good time. And your story can be better for it.
It really can. And once again, to emphasize, this is an art. It is not a science.
No, it takes practice.
It really does. Like, I know I've had my fair share of feels bad moments when characters die. And quite honestly, for most characters, when they do die, I do feel bad because I'm like, oh, I really like them.
Yeah, I don't think... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I've killed a few characters, and I don't think it's been a feels bad yet, and I'm really hoping to keep it that way, because it was usually the direct result of their actions.
Right.
There was that one random wilderness encounter that went south. But hey,
that one was really funny, though, so it doesn't count.
It was pretty funny.
It was really funny. Do you want to tell that story?
I think I have before, but...
Have you? Wait, you tell it anyway again.
There was a character who very much had his personal story superseding the rest of the story. And this was just by complete randomness. Two of those heart-eating deer bird monstrosities attacked in the night. Rolled 2 crits. I randomized the targets. Both hit him. Ripped his heart out. And flew away.
Don't forget the best part. He said his character was mute, so he couldn't scream or anything.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. And he wasn't even mad about it. Because it was to show, like, hey, you're away from the town, you can get attacked by some crazy shit.
Yeah, the wilderness is dangerous.
It is dangerous. And it was a random encounter. They rolled for it. They got the unlucky number, and, dice rolls happened.
The dice killed the players, not you, Josh.
I didn't do anything, okay? The dice killed them, okay?
That's literally what I say every time. I say that and unlucky whenever characters die.
Unlucky.
And well, remember, I have my death stamp, too. It's a little stamp I stamp their character sheets with that says, you're dead.
I love that.
Death is very near and dear to me. I love that. That's such a good story, too, from you.
It is a fun one. And he was cool with it, which was pretty cool. That helps. I would feel bad if I killed a player and they got salty about it.
Breaking, especially, too, when you break their heart, so to speak.
But you gotta do it sometimes.
You do.
It's like parenting. Spare the rod, spoil the child. That's all I'm gonna say.
I do the exact opposite to all my players.
You baby the shit out of them?
Wait a minute, I said that wrong.
You did.
But with that, Josh, do you want to head over to our little... Do you want to tiptoe over to our hobby corner? Or do you have anything else to say?
I think that's the death of that conversation.
It was a good way to die.
I
just got the joke.
Let's go to the hobby corner. Hobby corner.
Oh, that was good. Well done. Incorporate
that
into future episodes.
Thank you. We should record that. Sam, what have you been working on?
What have I been working on? Well, I have been learning the rule sets for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition. So that is essentially First Edition D&D. Maybe, yeah, that's essentially First Edition D&D.
And that's all Gary Gygax's work?
Oh boy, yes it is. The DMG is a beast. It is the best DMG ever. It has rules for an absurd amount of edge cases. It has an entire page dedicated to just werewolves and lycanthropy and its effects and how it all works.
That's awesome.
It's so much information, so many tables. Do not use all of them in your game. So the system was made to be run for tournaments. That was its big thing. Okay. So it had a lot of clarified rules in it.
How does tournament D&D even work?
So you run a tournament module with a bunch of other people, or you can just do it yourself. And there's a scoring sheet at the end, which is like, how much treasure did you collect? How many characters died? Did you kill these monsters? And you add up all the points, and you can try to, do better each time, essentially.
Is it like prizes? Is it competitive?
So I don't know if I don't think they really do it anymore. But yeah, it used to be competitive at gaming conventions.
That sounds crazy to me.
Isn't that cool? So it'd just be a room full of people with these modules playing through, and then there'd be, you know, a DM where they're like, hey, I want to run this. They'd tally up all the points, and yeah, there'd be a winner for the night.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, it was really popular back then. Like, really, like, Tomb of Horrors counted as one of them.
I think I have that one.
Ooh. I'd love to run the Tomb
Oh,
of Horrors.
okay. Off topic. Sorry. Well,
No, it's good stuff.
I'll show it to you later.
Nice. But, yeah, I've been learning that because I'm trying to help my dear sweet buddy, my sweetheart Alex out.
Oh.
He's from the stream,
We love
too.
you, Alex.
We do love you, Alex. Oh, jeepers, making me blush. But I'm going to help him run some advanced Dungeons and Dragons, so that'll be really cool. Cause,
Okay, so you've just been kind of like reading up on the rules.
Yeah, well, I figure the best way to learn, they say this for anything. If you can teach it to someone else, you're learning it, like, well, right? If you know it well enough to teach it.
You horribly butchered that, but it's if you can, you know you've mastered it when you can teach somebody.
Exactly. So I'm going to be helping him out with it, and you know, we have some surprises prepared, some fun little goofs and gags,
Some stuff we might be seeing on the stream.
Yeah. Which by the time this comes out, who knows? Maybe we'll have already seen it.
Possibly.
Good fun.
Very
good fun.
interesting.
But besides that, I've been working on my my version of D&D I run at for all my home games. Edition 0 mixed with basic D&D mixed with a bit of advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's mixed with a lot of things. It's draconian. But I've been working on the mass combat rules. So essentially, Dungeons and Dragons tabletop wargaming. We've converted. So you know the giant piezo map tiles?
Yes.
The maps?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have those, and we have Strategio pieces. We glue on, a friend 3D printed them. We glue on the little, what unit is which, and we play mass combat with them.
Okay.
We've been testing out the system, and the edition I play is so simple. It's so easy to run mass combat. It's a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll show you more of it later. It's a little hard to do on the stream, but I will say it's a great way to introduce legendary artifacts, legendary characters, to show them, like, the world is living without you, because right now their characters aren't participating. It's in this giant town.
Yeah, these are just characters that they've met and interacted with.
Yes,
the B team, almost. Well, the main characters are off doing something else.
You see, their B team's actually back home, because remember, in my edition they run like 10 characters each. So
okay, that's fair.
So this is like the the B NPC team.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll show you later. But
Ooh.
Enough of my yabbering and jabbering. Now, Josh, what have you been up to in this hobby corner?
Well,
in your hobby corner.
I actually signed up for a 40K tournament.
Ooh!
And played in it. And I had a 3-0 finish.
That is insane.
Yeah, well, kind of. That is crazy when I explain. So the Game Goblin in Geneva, a local store. We love them.
They're little sweethearts.
Little sweethearts. Adam is a sweetheart. Wow. They're running a combat patrol tournament for Warhammer 40,000. And I have a orc combat patrol.
They're very nicely painted.
That was not painted, though, a week ago.
No, he's gotten a lot done.
Every single night, you can ask my wife, I've been in the game room, paint, to get these guys good enough to play with. Got to get those 10 victory points, Sam.
You do. You literally do, man.
And it was a great couple of games. Everybody had a ton of fun. I finally feel like I get the rules of 10th edition 40K. So I was playing with confidence. And just everybody had a really good time. I had 3 great opponents. We all played great games. And 3-0'd. Lost to somebody else who 3-0'd by 4 points.
Oh, man.
That is one objective marker for one turn. So very, very tight tournament. Had a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. And it was all in one day, too.
Yeah, it was 3 games back to back to back, which sounds like a lot, but 10th edition is boiled down pretty well. I feel like even in the 3rd game I was playing pretty well.
And that's awesome.
My smooth brain was able to keep up with it.
Aw, don't tell yourself, Sort. You have a few wrinkles in there somewhere.
A couple of deformations.
Yeah. Aberrations.
But yeah, that's really all that's been going on.
That's a lot of hobby.
My neck of the woods. It was. A lot of orcs.
A lot of orcs and a lot of plants. That's awesome.
And one last note is I was gifted a Squigoth model by my brother.
Whoa, Mr. Beast over here getting you that.
Beast. So that was awesome. Putting that together was not awesome because resin sucks. But
yes, it does.
That's built. So the orcs are, we're coming along. We're at about 1,400 points.
That's a lot.
I've got
Dang.
50 boys.
50 boys. That's
An absurd amount of boys.
a lot of boys. Get the boys here. He's gonna go crumple.
There we go. There we go. So yeah, lots of orcs. I think I might take a little break from painting the orcs just to get a palette cleanser with something else.
I don't blame you.
I don't know, maybe paint up like a God Tier warband or maybe an Underworlds warband.
Ooh.
Something like that.
You should do those skeletons.
I do want to do those skeletons.
Do those skeletons, man.
Anybody listening, Warhammer Underworlds, Sepulchral Guard. I have a lot of skeleton models. These are the best.
They're real. They have a lot of character.
They are so dynamic. But still spindly skeletons. They're not these big, thick, chonky boned skeletons like you get from a lot of models.
Oh, they're thin.
Yeah, so they look good. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Look them up. Very cool. They might be next on the paint table.
And I'd say they have, like, the right amount of detail, you know? Because Games Workshop models are awesome. But
Yes.
boy, oh boy, are they detailed.
Yeah, some of the new kits are too much.
Too much.
I wouldn't want to paint them.
Thinking back to the skeletons, I think they have the right amount.
Yeah, some bucklers, some capes, fur cloaks.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We might see those on the paint table.
Well, I hope too. But with that note, Josh, this boy's getting a little sleepy Sam.
It's 5:30, past Sam's bedtime.
You know how I get when I stay up a little too late, Josh.
Me so cranky. Well, I'm Josh.
And I'm Sam.
And we've been Hobby Mules. We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.